on, guys? Welcome back to the Weeb Corner. I'm back out again with another deck profile. I know it's been a little bit. Changing up a few things on the channel here, so stay tuned for all that stuff. But I did want to get a deck profile for you guys since I've been working on this one for quite a while. I am going to be maining this into set 8. It is an original deck as far as I know. I haven't seen anybody build it this exact way online at all. I've seen pure builds, but I haven't seen it built the multicolor way that I have it. I will be doing probably red, yellow Broly as well in set 8. So if I do get that, I will make a profile on that as well after obvious extensive testing and everything like that. So, but for right now, this is what I'm going to be making into set 8. So this right here is the Gogeta leader. On the front side, he's just Gogeta, and his auto burst 2 whenever you attack, draw a card, but you got to burst 2 first. It's really, really good. It helps you set up sparking because you do need that sparking 10 for Gogeta 7. You need sparking 5 for the 5-drop Gogeta. It just really helps you get everything live pretty early. And then you awaken when your life is at 4 or less and untap 2, which is always really good. And then on the back side, we have Knockout Strike Gogeta. This, honestly, he's not the most versatile blue leader. I would say that the Hirudegarn is still the most versatile blue leader, but if you're looking to do a blue deck and you just want like a really good generic blue leader, I would say this Gogeta is pretty dang good. So his auto Sparking 5, whenever this card attacks, draw a card, you should be at Sparking 5, obviously because you just milled on the backside. And then his activate main, or actually, excuse me, sorry. So the rest of his auto is that when you're at 3 or more energy, he gains plus 5k when you're attacking. So when you're at 3 or more energy, which you definitely should be by the time you're awakened, he'll be at 20k instead of a 15 whenever you're attacked. And then if you have 5 or more energy, he'll have double strike as well. So if you have 5 energy, you'll be at 20k double strike base whenever you're swinging with your leader and you'll draw a card. Then his activate main is one of the main reasons why I love him. His activate main is you drop a card and your opponent can only activate counter cards for once the rest of that turn. So if you swing with him and they negate while your ability is active, they cannot negate, they can't counterplay, they can't do anything until their next turn. So if they use a counter once during your turn, they can't use it anymore. If they, chompa a Gogeta or something that you bring out and you haven't swung with anything else yet, that's all they can do. They can't negate anything else after that. So I do really like that a lot. It's a little bit of a control. This really hits Janemba pretty hard because they're definitely more of a counter deck. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the battle cards that we're playing here. So for our Self-Awakeners, we're playing 3 Pan, pretty self-explanatory. She does bounce back to your hand once you're done using her. She's also searchable in the deck, which I'll show you why in a little bit. But yeah, she does bounce back to your hand after you use her. It's really, really good. If you wanted to use the yellow Krillin Self-Awakener, I guess you can. I wouldn't recommend it though, just because he's not searchable like this Pan is. And then we're gonna go ahead and look at our blue-yellow engine a little bit. We have our blue-yellow Energy Exhaust Beerus the Fickle God. Mandatory if you're playing the blue-yellow version, obviously, because he's the charge card. The minute you see Beerus in your opening hand during your mulligan, keep him, because you're only running 4 of them. He's not searchable. You're only running 4. If you see him in your opening mulligan, keep him, hold on to any copies, period, and he's just an automatic charge, which is really, really good because, I know sometimes, you struggle with a charge, what you want to charge sometimes, and having this guy, having energy exhaust cards in general like this, like the new Android 17 and stuff like that, I love him because there's just like a guaranteed charge and you always know what you're going to do. All right, so there's that. Next, we're going to get into our little Gogeta package here. So what we're running, our main fusion targets is 4 Fusion Reborn Vegeta and 4 Fusion Reborn Son Goku. You really only want to fuse with these guys. They are searchable, like I said. You guys will see in a minute. But these are the other cards you want to keep in your opening hands whenever you're mulligan. The cards you really want to see in your mulligan hand is Beerus the Fickle God, one of these guys, and depending on your matchup, maybe you want to keep Pan in your hand, maybe you want to keep an Objection in your hand, something like that. It really depends on what matchup you're doing. But these guys are the only things you want to fuse with. I did play around with adding more ratios. I do have another Vegeta card in here, but he's more of a battle card. You really don't want to use him for fusion because you're not gaining the pluses off of fusing with these guys. So what they do is if you ever union fusion with these guys and you have a Gogeta leader, which obviously you do, whenever you union fusion with this Goku, you draw a card, and whenever you union fusion with this Vegeta, you untap an energy. But obviously you have to have a Gogeta leader, but that's really the amazing thing is because it really just gives you a huge plus on your union fusion that you're already going to be plussing off of. Next, we're going to get into our little bit of a defensive package. We're going to have 3 Champas and 3 Son Gohans. This is our defensive counterplay package. The Champa pretty much hit anything in the game. Ignoring barrier, puts in Rets mode, draw a card, and needs a 15k on board to help you get that little bit of extra pressure. And then so is that the Gohan, if you have a multicolor energy, he basically comes out for 1 and puts back any 4-drop back to your opponent's hand, which is really, really good. Those cards are pretty much the main staples. If you're gonna play blue-yellow, 3 Champa, 3 Gohan, and 4 Beerus the Fickle God, I would say is the main package you need for blue-yellow, because it's just a lot of defense, a lot of pluses and stuff like that. So I really recommend it if you guys are looking to play in blue-yellow, but that's pretty much all those guys are there for. 2 at all cost Vegeta. Like I said, that's the other Vegeta card. I thought about cutting him, but he is really necessary, honestly. He's another win condition if you can get him out. He can help you self-awaken if you're just not seeing your pans and you have 2 life and you're able to bring him out. He's a good way to self-awaken. And he does get pretty big as well. And he also has that ability to remove a card by popping it. I don't usually play him very often. I usually only play him if I need to self-awaken, and then after that, he's pretty much dead on the board, because I don't really want to take that 2 life to give him triple attack or triple strike unless I know I'm going in for the kill. It has come up where I'd be able to activate leader ability, drop a card, and then my leader has double strike, he has triple strike, Gogeta 7's on the board as well. And there's pretty much nothing they can do about that because they can only negate 1of those attacks. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely mandatory, I would say. But I wouldn't say he's mandatory, sorry. He's definitely usable. If you want to cut him out for something else, by all means, I wouldn't stop you. Next, we're playing 2 5-drop Gogeta. This guy is amazing. If you're looking to just remove something from the board, he's absolutely amazing, especially if you Union Fusion him with the Gokus and Vegetas that I just mentioned before. If you Union Fusion with them, he comes out for basically 3 energy instead of 4, because you're going to untap 1, and you're going to draw 3 cards because of the way it works. He draws 2, and then you would draw another one from the using the Goku as a Union Fusion target. So it's really good. This is just a huge plus. You untap an energy, draw 3 cards, bounce 2 cards, or spin 2 cards to the bottom of your opponent's deck. Amazing, honestly. And then obviously our big boss is going to be 3 Gogeta 7s. That's your main win condition. Bringing this guy out turn 4 after you have objection, and then setting your opponent back down to 3 cards, and then kind of going in for the kill after that. If you guys are interested in playing this deck, a little bit of strategy for you, it would be to bring this guy out turn 4 just to shuffle your opponent's hand, but don't swing after that. Just leave it alone. Let them sit there with 3 cards in hand. And then on your following turn, on their next turn, they're not really going to be able to do much to you anyways. You can defend all that stuff. They're not really going to be able to do much to you anyways. And then on the very following turn, a really good play to do is if you have them in your hand, you'd play the Fu for 6 energy, because you'd be at 6 on the following turn. This guy is ridiculous in this deck, honestly, because you usually have so many battle cards on the board. From what I've experienced, you Champa a card, you Gohan a card really quick, and you got 2 15Ks on board. You have this guy on board, you'll have Gogeta on the board, your leader will have double strike. You just have a lot of pressure on board, and then this guy turns off everything. They can't negate, they can't draw for their super combos, they can't arrival. I mean, they can arrival, but they can't really do anything with it. So yeah, honestly, he's a really good extra little boss monster just in case you want to push for game at that point if you don't have another way to do it. So we're going to go ahead and get to our extra cards. It's going to be start off right on the gates. We got 4 Dimension Magic. Now this next one is completely optional for you guys. I'm doing 2 all too easy. The only reason why I put this in here is because our leader is a burst leader, so it's pretty easy to get this into the drop area with your leader ability. And as well on the backside, you have to drop a card to activate your leader ability. So if you really want to, you could just drop this, put it in your drop area, and now you always have a negate ready to go in your drop area in case your leader were to rip cards out of your hand or anything like that, and they rip out your Dimension Magic. This was Whis' Coercion. You guys can do Whis' Coercion. It really doesn't matter all that much. It's whatever you guys want to do. I would not recommend Flying Nimbus though. You're not really running enough yellow cards to use Flying Nimbus. It is a great negate, I would say, but you're just not really running enough yellow. This deck is mainly blue, just a little splash of yellow. And then 4 super combos. That's about it, really. Self-explanatory. These are the Sparking 5 super combos though. Make sure you're using the Sparking 5 super combos and not the 4 life, because you're definitely going to get to Sparking 5 before you even get to 4 life, because you swing with leader twice, you're already at Sparking 4, and then you combo 1 card or drop a card or objection or something like that, and you're at Sparking 5 and it's live. Then we got this package here. You could do 4 Bean and 1 Trunks by like bumping one other card in this deck down, but I thought this was a pretty good ratio. It's essentially 4 Bean, but that Trunks is searchable. He untaps for free, and I mean you're running a blue leader and you can use Trunks, so why not use Trunks? Again, he's searchable, so I'd really recommend it just to get your plays going from there. Then we also are running 3 objections. 4 felt a little bit too much. You literally only need to objection once in this deck. In all honesty, it only needs to be 1 objection so you can get Gogeta out a turn earlier. The way it usually would work is turn 1, you'd energy exhaust the Beerus. Depending on if you're going first or not, you'd swing, and then turn 2, you'd charge another card, objection. You'd be at 3 energy, tap yourself out to play like a Pan or something like that to help yourself self-awaken. And then by turn 3, you're at 4 energy, and at that point, you can either, if you're not awakened yet, you can either play the at all cost Vegeta, because now you're at 4 energy, and awaken yourself, or you could, if you already do have the ability to awaken, you could bring out the 5-drop Gogeta for the Union Fusion, spin some cards back to your opponent's deck and have the double strike on board and draw like 3 cards. Really depends on what you want to do, and then turn 4, you'd have 5 energy, and then you'd be able to do your Gogeta play. So you literally only need to objection once. If you want objection more than once, I mean, like, go for it. But usually after I objection that one time, I'm either discarding it for leader effect or charging it. It really doesn't matter. And I know I've been saying this whole time that those cards are searchable, and here's how. I'm playing 2 Planet Vegeta. You have a yellow engine, you're gonna have yellow energy. Planet Vegeta searches any 4-drop or less Saiyan straight from the deck, so I mean that's almost your entire deck pretty much. Only thing that it doesn't search is the Champa, the Beerus, and the 7-drop Gogeta and the Fu, because those are all either above 4-drop or they're not Saiyans. Everything else, the Pans, they're searchable. The Trunks combo, they're searchable. Your super combos are searchable because they're Saiyans. The Gohan counterplay is searchable. At all costs, Vegeta is searchable. Like literally, almost your entire deck is searchable with this card. I'd really recommend it just because. And most importantly, your fusion targets, they're searchable. So you're essentially running 6 copies of each fusion target pretty much at this point. So I'd definitely recommend the Planet Vegeta. If you can find space for more, I guess, but it just makes everything really smooth. And then the last 2 cards to round it out, Soul Punisher. For that, a little bit of extra pressure. If you guys don't know what this does, is an activate battle. If your leader card is a Gogeta card, they gain 15k power and critical. Really dope maneuver you can do in this deck is activate leader abilities so that they know they can only negate once, and then you swing with leader, and they're going to be like, all right, well that's a 20 double strike. I don't really want to waste my negate on that, so they'll say, cool, I'll take it. And then that's when you combo a Soul Punisher and like a Bean or a Trunks to make sure that it's free, and it is honestly ridiculous. You'd be at like 40k double strike crit with a leader swing, and now they were hoping they're going to plus off of that, but no. Another really good play to do is to do that right after you do your Gogeta 7 swing, your Gogeta 7 play, where you bring out Gogeta 7, shuffle their hand back, and then you'd be like, all right, swing with lead, and then apply that crit and stuff. So now they're not getting any cards from their life to their hand at all. They're going to stay at 3 cards. It's really good play, and that really sets you up for the kill next turn. So that's the deck. I was fiddling with the ratios and changes and stuff like that. The side deck for this deck is very versatile because you have that blue-yellow engine, so there's a lot of cards you can put in your side deck. There's that base form Kefla you can put in your side deck that arrivals on your turn and taps one of your opponent's cards and negates its skills to the end of the next turn. I think that's a really good side deck option, in all honesty. Really turns off a lot of effects. But stuff like that, really easy to side deck with. There's also a version of this where you can use the yellow Broly leader. It's not as consistent. I'm only saying this because I'm sure some people will come to the conclusion of using the Broly leader. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not as consistent. The Broly leader doesn't provide as much pressure as you'd like. Yes, he does have the ability to take a life and restand one of your battle cards and swing again and put more damage on board that way, but it's just a lot easier to be killed in that deck because you're taking so much life. Your leader is taking life, Gogeta's taking life at all costs, Vegeta's taking life if you do it. So it's entirely up to you guys if you want to play the Broly leader, but I don't think it would work out very well. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about the deck, let me know in the comments. Feel free to message me. I'll gladly answer as soon as I can. So yeah, leave a like, Make sure to subscribe, and then be on the lookout for any new content. I'm going to be posting more, leaning more towards anime stuff at this point now. I will still be doing deck profiles every once in a while, but it's going to be leaning more towards anime discussions and stuff like that. So that'll be it for me. Weeb Corner signing out.